Welcome to Successful Living. I'm your host, Rob Auclair, financial planner at Balanced Wealth Management in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. On today's show, we're going to talk about teamwork. Many people always think teamwork has something to do with sports, but not always. It has something to do with the workplace, family, socially, and in sports. So we're going to attack that, take a look at the importance. Then we're going to be joined by our mortgage expert, Steve Tetzner, Vice President at Homestar Mortgage. And Steve's going to talk about the current mortgage interest rates. And then he's also going to talk about PMI, what it is, and how to make it go away at some point. And then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about investments and the expenses that go along with investments, how to uncover what you're paying in expenses and what those expenses actually do and how they affect your portfolio long term. And then we'll finish up with our client question. So let's start with our word of the day, which is teamwork. Teamwork is the combined action of a group of people, especially when effective and efficient. And when we say effective and efficient, we mean that they actually get their job done. So 54% of people say that the sense of community has kept them at work on average an extra 5 years. It's that camaraderie at work and that teamwork are reasons why they stayed there a little bit longer. 74% of employers said that they have now hit it is very important to be able to be a team player. So the more and more this is becoming part of teamwork within a firm, we now have very good communication. You don't have to all be in the same place, but you need to collaborate on stuff. So what are the benefits of teamwork? Our first benefit is it fosters creativity and learning. So when we work together, what we're able to do is brainstorm, get ideas from people from different perspectives, and find an effective solution. It's not just one solution, it's many solutions, so that is extremely important. Number two is blend complementary strengths. I know that when I work with a group, someone might be good at the socialization, someone might be good as a speaker, someone might be good with the spreadsheets, someone might be good at bringing it all together. You have the ability to do that with many people versus one people. Number three, it builds trust. And I think this is the most important piece of teamwork, is that when things get tough, that you don't run away. It's part of working things out with people, and you'll remember that, and that's what builds that strong bond of teamwork, that whether things are good or bad, people will now have that sense to rely on you. Number four, conflict resolution. Obviously, we're going to have some issues when we have more than one person making a decision. And conflict resolution, can you come up with the right ideas or the right outcome? And I think when we're looking at promoting people within a business, this is a big area in which, making sure that you can resolve a conflict. And then finally, promote a wider sense of ownership. So when people are connected to something, we get better results. They feel better, the team winning the game versus just an individual award. So when we look at all that, it all sounds great, but we all know that many people are part of a team and there's many personalities. So how do we be a good teammate, or how can we become a good teammate and stick by some rules? So number one, to be a team player, have a genuine commitment. Don't fake it. Be able to, make adjustments, so be flexible. So you want to be the sort of person in which you are flexible whether something is going your way or not. And then number three, don't stay in the shadows. So a lot of people will say, oh, I'm part of this team, and they just kind of float in the background. You actually want to be part of that. Number four, support and respect each other. Whether you are a boss, someone that's part of a team, it's important to understand what position you hold and don't laugh at someone's idea, encourage those ideas. And then number five, recognize when you're wrong. I think this is a huge one. A lot of people are unwilling to do that. And if you're part of a team and you're part of a group, when you recognize that you're wrong and you actually say it in front of people, it encourages other people to be honest with themselves. We're not perfect. And when we put this team feel together, it is so important that we are able to kind of be a good team player to do that. What I have experienced personally is I started out individually by myself, and over time now I've actually acquired other people that are working with me, and I have a greater sense of being connected because I've developed that camaraderie. I'm not by myself. I've welcomed those ideas, and it's not always easy, but I work on that of telling people what they need to do, and they're telling me what to do. So whether it's your family, whether it's work, whether it's sports, teamwork trumps being an individual. So when we come back, we'll be joined by Steve Tetzner. Steve will talk about mortgage rates and also PMI. Stay tuned.